Good evening and welcome, everybody. We are so glad that you're here and that you are helping us to grow this community and that you're part of this community, rapidly growing the Lemon Nation and our Lemonhead community. By the way, the Legends, which is at the top of our membership tier, they're going to join us in just a little bit, so I'll introduce them a bit later. But you saw the thumbnail and you saw last night, if you joined us for our live stream, last night we asked the question, was it possibly arson? Because they had caught one individual at least and had that they believe may have been allegedly trying to start fires. They have not officially said anything about it, but now there is a report that I need to tell you about. But first of all, let me just get you caught up on the damage. There's a report that's saying that this could have been humans that did this. Okay. So anyway, welcome everybody. Could a group of tipsy teenagers have caused some $50 billion in damage? We need to explore. Could a cigarette or a joint possibly have ignited perhaps the most devastating fire in California history? Can you imagine if that is the case? The most devastating fire. That is what state investigators are looking into now in California. That's according to news reports in the LA Times and the New York Post. Authorities say they believe that the Palisades fire had, quote, human origins and was stated by someone, by someone possibly by accident. Can you imagine? Again, this is all alleged. These according to reports. The LA Times, a very serious news organization, reporting this. The New York Post picking up on the story, but taking it a little bit further, making it a little bit more provocative, positing a couple of things that are a little bit, I would say, more provocative, slightly salacious perhaps. To be clear, the authorities have no one in custody and have not identified any suspects. Officials have noted, however, the trail where the blaze started is popular with hikers and is often used as a hangout by local teens. The area is an often frequented overlook known as Skull Rock that investigators are honing in on. So this is where we are right now. As folks now in California are being briefed every day, we're following the feeds to see what is happening. Can you imagine if this is the case? Let's put up, this is a full screen, an aerial view of where the fire likely started. That's it right there, where the fire likely started, where they believe it started, and the possibility, as we have been saying, that it could be human caused. Don't know if it's air, don't know if it's arson, don't know, but they are investigating because there's so many things unusual about the fire. Let me go to the New York Post report first, okay? So according to the New York Post, it says LA's Palisades fire, now they say likely caused by humans in hiking area, popular with teens, according to a report. This is what they are reporting. It goes on to say the Palisades fire, the biggest and most destructive wildfire in Los Angeles history, has human origins as a likely cause, according to a new report. Authorities investigating the cause of the fire told the Los Angeles Times that they believe it was started by someone, possibly as an accident, sources told the Times. Officials noted the trail is popular with hikers and is often used as a hangout by local teens, and the fire may have human origins, according to the Times. The area is an overlook known as Skull Rock on the Temescal Ridge in Pacific Palisades. The blaze has consumed nearly 30,000 acres, 47 square miles, and destroyed 5,000 structures since it was sparked nearly a week ago. I glazed over that. 30,000 acres, 5,000 structures. Started nearly a week ago. A small fire burned there on New Year's Eve after apparently being started by fireworks, but that was put out shortly after. Officials are investigating whether the fire could have had any connection, but said the location's popularity meant it was possible another fire started in the area Tuesday before exploding into the inferno that destroyed thousands of buildings across LA. Now, again, that is according to the New York Post. Okay? The LA Times is the origin or the originator of this report. The LA Times is not going quite as far as the New York Post. The New York Post picking up on one element within this Times report and seizing upon it, expanding upon it. The LA Times simply says, what sparked the Palisades fire? A beloved hiking trail may hold the grim answers. Now, remember, the LA Times, a very respected news organization. Here's how they report it. Hikers and outdoor enthusiasts have long been drawn to Skull Rock, north of the Sunset Boulevard in Pacific Palisades, a relatively short hike on the Temescal Ridge Trail reveals the skeletal-shaped Skull Rock and dramatic Pacific Ocean views. And then it goes on to report. Now, it goes on, and this is what the Post is picking up on. It says, sources with knowledge of the investigation told the Times that officials are aware of the earlier fire and generally proximity to the Palisades fire. They are looking into whether that could be the cause because the area is frequented by the public, the sources said, and it's possible a new fire was somehow sparked on January 7th. It talks about the earlier fire being sparked by fireworks. And then it goes on and said, they noted the area is frequented by hikers, teenagers, and others. Okay? So here's part of their report. After dropping his kids off at school around 8:15 a.m. on the day the Palisades fire started, and I don't even want to give the name, but this gentleman drove to the area to hike. He did a 5-mile loop that took him up above Skull Rock and surveyed the burn scar from the New Year's fire. And this is the quote. Around the same time, I noticed a bit of smoky smell. I didn't make much of it. I figured it was either coming from somewhere else or was remnants of the fire itself. That's what the gentleman told the Times. He had done another hike days earlier in Malibu where the Franklin fire had burned, and a few weeks earlier, and noticed a faint ash smell. But the smell on Tuesday near Skull Rock was stronger, he said, and he wondered whether the wind had rustled up ash. One of his neighbors also smelled the smoke, he later learned. Another quote. The timing of this was about an hour before the fire, he said. Now, what that all means, I don't know. Could it be possible that there were still some embers that weren't out in the winds, were kind of rustling them up? The fire was reported about an hour later from the address on the North Piedra Murata Drive where someone else's family lives. In an interview with the Times last week, that family member confirmed that he was the first to call 911, and he went to alert his neighbors to the fire. And it goes on to talk more about the wind blown or whatever. So that's what they're seizing upon. None have ruled out, and there's ongoing investigations. Nothing has been ruled out here. This is, quite frankly, frightening if it is so, okay? And it's got to be the Times. I believe the Times would not write something that is not well sourced. Again, they're not saying it. They're asking what the origins of the fire. The New York Post, though, in its reporting saying likely. I don't know where the New York Post got that, but we are reporting that that's what's happening. Now, I want to bring in some of our lemon legends here and put them up on the screen and get their thoughts on this. And then I'm going to take you to, we're going to give you this fascinating before and after of this fire to show you just how devastating it has been, the damage that it has caused. And it's nothing like a side-by-side that can show you the real issue and show you what is going on. Stand by, please. Emergency phone call that I have to take. Introduce yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves, Lemon Legends.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Everybody.
Hi.
I know, right? You heard the orders from the boss. You heard the chief. He said, chat amongst ourselves. Indeed, we'll chat.
Yep.
This is not good.
Oh, hello there. How are you?
Kim Page just
Kim
popped in.
Page, yeah. Hello.
You know, I always missed the notification. So
Where are you, Kim?
Okay, I didn't want you guys to hear that.
It's
It's something that I had been waiting on for a bit. It was very important. Okay, for me. Okay, so thank you for putting up with it. Hi, Lemon Legends. How are you?
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
What's going
doing
on?
great.
So we
Good
got
to be here,
Maureen. Maureen is with us. We've got Warren.
I am here.
We've got May Money in the building, right? We got Natasha. Hi, Natasha. Where are you? Okay, we've got Beth Collier. Hello, Beth. How's it going? And we have Nicole Cox with us as well. And did I miss anybody? Did I miss anyone?
Terry and Kim.
Terry Stork. And then we have Kim Cox who's joined us.
Kim Page.
Kim.
Yep.
Kim, tell me again.
Kim Page.
Page, right. Kim Page joined us. And then so we have Nicole, Kim, May Money, Beth Collier, Natasha, Warren, Terry, and Maureen. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you all for joining us. This is what happens. I'm sorry?
I said, you're on a roll. You got it. Let's go.
Thank you. So this is what happens if you are the top tier. If you're a Lemon Legend, then you get to join and you get to be on. So guys, I want to get what you had, what you thought about the possibility of this being human. I don't know if it's air or what it is, but I want you all to sit back. Thank you for joining. You're going to be a part of the show, but I want everybody to sit back and I want to watch this and we're going to discuss it because this was put together by a fantastic team and it shows the Palisades before and after, and they do a side by side. It is devastating, and nothing is putting this into perspective like what we're about to show you now. I'm sure it's the first time that you will have seen it. Okay? So here we go. Let's watch. Every once in a while, I'll interrupt, and we'll possibly pause, but watch. Can you imagine this being your neighborhood? Here we go. Look at that. On the left, before. On the right, after. Look at that. Unbelievable.
Heartbreaking.
It is just, look at that. Burnt out as if it is, I feel like I'm watching the scene, having been in war zones, that this is a scene of something that looks like a war zone, or if you've perhaps seen images of a nuclear attack, or quite frankly, the atom, you know what. What are you guys thinking as you're watching this? May Money, talk to me.
Wow. Well, first of all, it's so just devastating and just, wow, it reminds me of like The Walking Dead or something. But also, I'm in Oakland, California. It's sunny and nice. There's no smoke. So just to still be in the same state and all this devastation going on, and I'm literally like 9-hour drive away from all of this is just really surreal, honestly. It's really sad.
It is unbelievable. And if you're watching this, make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you like and subscribe because it affects the algorithm. We're watching, if you're just joining us, the before and after that was put together by this amazing crew of Pacific Palisades. And you see there's really nothing else left there to burn. Maureen?
Yeah, I know. My state, huh? I feel the same way that May does. I'm in San Francisco area, as you know, Dawn, and it's lovely here. But all our wonderful neighbors down south, and I have family and friends, and it's bizarre. It makes me, I actually feel very choked up about it. It also reminds me of another place, which is Maui, in the Hainan where I've gone to for many years. And that is the same kind of devastation, even though it's, a smaller state. Um, I lost words about this. We've been living it now for what, 3 days, 3 or 4 days.
What, the fire?
And
A little bit longer. It's been
yeah,
a
the
week.
fire. Yeah, it's been a week. Well, that's it. It's gone by, and it's hard to believe. And those are my neighbors. We're a big state, but I think all of us go out to them, and I certainly have not liked it being politicized for sure. And if it is done, maybe it was caused by humans, but I'll wait to hear further. We're just always a powder keg here. We really are. With our, all of a sudden, our rain has stopped. We're not even getting rain in the
Well,
last
I think they had
yeah.
1/5 of the rain in as of November or something, 2005, that they would have needed to keep things at least, intact. So it wouldn't be so dry. Let me bring you in, Warren. Warren, as you look at these devastating pictures, and I said, imagine if this was your neighborhood. I'm not sure you can relate, if anyone can relate, but this definitely does. Look at that. Show the beauty on the left and the devastation on the right.
Yeah, Don, you are absolutely right. I agree with Maureen. I have no words. I'm looking from 3,000 miles away just on the news. And as I said, I get my news basically from your show. Not, yeah, I'm a loss for words. I can't imagine the people that didn't have insurance that are now having to deal with that. They woke up one day going to the grocery store and then coming home and finding this devastation. It's no words for that. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get choked up, so I'm gonna stop. All right.
It does hurt your heart to hear this, Warren. Who is that speaking now?
Oh, no, just I'm choked up too. Yes, Warren.
Yeah. Terry
Yeah,
Stork.
I was going to say last night I pulled up YouTube and I watched the 60 Minutes segment from last night's show. And it was the story of a man who had gone back to Palisades. And on the street that he lived, there were five homes were all family. And they'd grown up there, born and raised on this block. And in the rush to get out, he ran out of his house screaming, "Everybody leave, everybody leave, everybody leave." And sometime later last night, everybody wanted to know where his sister was.
Mm.
And when he went back, he couldn't understand why her car was there. And he found his sister.
Mm.
And, she obviously was not with us anymore, but it's just heartbreaking. Like Warren, I'm about 3,000 miles away. And, I look at it and it looks like Afghanistan to me, during all the wars over there. It's absolutely surreal.
Yeah. Karen Ebner is writing, and thank you for your support, Karen. Listen, why is there, before video, why was it taken? When was it taken? Not exactly sure when it was taken because it's out. I need to get a little bit more information on it, but I would imagine this was a walking tour that they created. It could be, a walking tour. This is what I imagine, okay? And because people do walking tours of neighborhoods all the time. And I think that comparatively, they just put it together they said, we did a walking tour of this. Let's go back and show it. And there could be some restoration video or something put in here too from previous images. But it is unbelievable. It was filmed, as I said, that was Karen. Karen who's asking why. This was filmed as a walking tour of Palisades Village in Pacific Palisades in March of last year, 2024. Reuters then walked in their footsteps on January 7th to recreate their tour. So what I said was correct. That assumption was correct. Who was just speaking before talking about this?
That was Terry.
That was Terry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I called Terry. I just want to make sure that I'm getting everyone in because on my screen it's small. Natasha, you have loved ones and friends and a place to live. And this was a place to live for so many people. And I wonder what this is going to do to the population or to the folks, where they're going to live. Even if your house is standing in this neighborhood, most likely you don't have the basic infrastructure facilities. And how do you go home? What's your reaction when you see this?
Well, I was just thinking about that. And even one earlier today, when you posed that question about, where will people go? It's like, where will all those people go? They've lost everything. And like someone said earlier about with the insurance, it's like they don't have the insurance to even rebuild. So then now, are you staying local because your job is here, or are you going to completely try to move someplace else? It's like their whole world has just been completely flipped upside down. And
Yeah, and just a
it's
moment
very
ago, we
sad.
saw the kids sitting there, just sitting on the sidewalk, looking over the ridge and looking at the view. And then now there's no one there. Sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's just I feel for them because I cannot imagine what that is like. But even though others will say, "Oh, well, at least you're alive." Well, yes, but they have lost everything, and now they have to try to rebuild,
Yeah.
and that is traumatic.
Beth Collier, I want to bring you in.
Yes, sir.
You go on.
I think if it were me in this devastation, I suppose I would have to, if I had insurance, rely on the agent first and a FEMA rep and whoever's in charge at my workplace and any friends, family I might have, if not there, then the closest I do. And you kind of pool all your options
Hey Beth,
together.
sorry to cut you off. As we look at this, you
Yes,
see
sir.
these homes and all you're seeing, see the steel girders, and they're even falling over. Just to think about what that fire burned. So to be on that hilltop, Beth, and I'm really sorry to cut you off, but I think it's important that
Not at all.
the scenes you're seeing on the right, so many of these homes were held up by steel. And that burned, that showed you just how ferocious this fire was and how it took everything out almost in its path. I'm sorry, Beth, go on.
All right. It also had shown a few days ago how cars were melting and the
Yeah.
metal that was in the street from it, and a lady who died because she wouldn't leave her pets behind. And
Ah,
it's horrific. I mean, what else can you say? But as far as how do they rebuild, I don't know. I guess step by step. Step
Nicole
by step.
Cox, do you want to weigh in?
Um, I'll try, Don.
Wow, you're
Um,
overwhelmed?
It's this is just another weight on top of what has probably been, it's just been an exhausting, what are we at now? What,
Week.
last 14 months?
Oh, you mean
you
just
thought
in general? Yes.
you
Yeah.
just in general, it's just like, oh, and the year turned. And by the way, I have a little more exhaustion to lay on top of everything. And so, you look at this and very similar sentiments to some that have been expressed before. I got a flashback of what it felt like when I was watching 9/11 happen.
Ah,
And much respect to all of those who suffered 9/11 up front, close and personal, and who are still suffering effects from that. But for those of us who were literally watching it happen on TV, I remember getting dressed for work. I'm getting ready to go teach, and I'm seeing this happen on television, and it looks like a movie. It looks so surreal, so unreal, that it's like, this can't be real. This can't be, like, who is staging this? What is going on here? And you're looking at it, and in light of everything that has been happening, it just feels so thick. It feels so opaque that you can barely see through it, right?
mhm.
And in regards to what you were referring to earlier when you were giving us the report from the news sources, and respectfully, I do hear what you're saying about, LA Times being a respectable news source, and then other news sources are going to pick up, they're going to spot, they're going to cherry pick certain bits and pieces of information to make light work for themselves rather than sending out reporters to actually be on the ground and see what's going on, investigate. You know the game better than I do, Don, so you know exactly what they're going to do. And I understand that, and there is a place for that as far as investigating. Yeah, what really happened? How did this kick off? I do wish more sources were focusing on what you are currently focusing on right now, which is getting into the gut of exactly what is going on, showing it, highlighting the people, because the vast devastation. Who was it that mentioned earlier who said, yeah, you're alive, at least you're alive, but yes, but look at how you're living. Look at how
Exactly.
you're going to live right
Exactly.
now. And I get it. You're going to be calling insurance and whatever. I am sure there are some people right now who are still so in shock. If you ask them their middle name right now, they probably couldn't tell you. What am I going to do with my children? What am I going to do with my mother? How am I going to help it's just the day to day, what am I going to do next? And we have to mobilize. There has to be a prioritization of human dignity that has been ripped away from these people, a sense of autonomy that has been snatched right out from under them, right from out of their mouth. And that demands response. That demands response. And unless we have news sources such as your own that are getting in there and saying, look, no, look, really look, they're going to have that surrealism, such as myself. I include myself in that number, who are watching from a screen and are like, oh, wow, how horrible. Well, I think I'll just now go and cook my spaghetti for dinner,
Thank
because
you.
it's just on a screen. It's not walking through it, touching the people, and seeing that ash and feeling the ash in your mouth, and then realizing, wow, this is real. So this is pretty opaque is the word. It's thick. It
And
is very
jarring.
thick.
And listen,
Incredibly.
um, I just had an epiphany as I was sitting here, and it's that I'm so proud of you guys for caring and for you understand, like helping to build a community. And just in this moment, I was like, you know what? I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing because we're reaching people. You are able to respond, not just sit there, as you say, in front of the television, Nicole, and not just sit there and go, oh, wow, look how horrible it is. But you're able to say how you feel on a platform that people are watching and to get folks to understand just how tough this is on a human level for everybody, even if you can't really, I can't even imagine being in these folks' shoes. You know what I'm saying? So thank you. I just want to thank you all for just being so transparent and so willing to be on and so willing to be the Lemon Legends, where you guys have the courage to come on and to talk about these issues. And I appreciate your support and thank you for caring. I really appreciate it. Kim, with that said, I know that you are one of the not one of the most, I should say, you are as sort of introspective about these things as anyone here. And we have spoken before, and you are about truth. As you are watching this, what is your truth when you see this?
Like my heart breaks. And it's hard to hold back the emotion.
So don't go ahead,
that
girl.
That video, I don't know if you've all seen that video of the man who had 2 dogs, I believe, and was able to save one. And I think it was 4 days later, went back and found his second dog had been hiding in the rubble for 4 or 5 days. But just that joy and that I felt so much for that man, for that gentleman, as a pet owner. And it's these human stories that just rip at our hearts. And that's the part we can't forget. And the outpour, the community.
The Christmas bulbs, by the way. Sorry, Kim. Christmas bulbs.
Oh, no, please.
Look at that.
Oh,
man,
geez.
wow. Look, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I hate to cut you off. I'm sorry, but I just want to.
No, it's all right. Even for me, I'm in Orange County. I'm just an hour away. And I don't see the remnants of it either. I see it on the screen. We don't even have smoke or anything down here. But we also know that the Santa Anas can kick up again, and fire is not discriminating at all. We live in around this dry brush as well, so we kind of brace for impact kind of thing.
Yeah.
But just the outpouring of the community, those piles of clothes and the food and the basics that we take for granted every day. And people have lost everything. You know, my heart breaks. My heart just breaks. But the one thing I wanted to go back to real quick was that how the fire started. We have a Nextdoor app. I'm sure that's nationwide. And a woman took video of these two kids literally playing with fire in Laguna Beach during this heavy wind. And that fire got away from them. And if they had not been by the ocean, God knows what would have happened, right? So I think sometimes our kids don't understand the ramifications and the consequences of their actions and what they're doing. I just, we were horrified.
Is there someone
So-
there who is getting an emergency alert?
I don't know. I'm hearing that, but I heard that too, Don. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard it a couple times. It's not my
Maybe
house.
it's in the video.
Oh.
Perhaps it's in the video. Okay. So listen, Kim, thank you for reminding us of this. I want to put this up so that everyone can see that moment. Kim told a story of a man who could only save one of his dogs, and then he went back days later. The Amber Alert is in the video, by the way. And then days later, he went back and found his other dog hiding in the rubble. Here it is.
Oh, honey! Oh, honey! Oh, my God, you're alive! You're alive! Oh, honey! Oh, wow! Wow!
Oh my gosh. So guys, let me just say, if you are a pet owner and you think that was sort of hyperbolic, outrageous, no. I can't. If I went back days, oh my gosh, and my dog was still alive, I would be worse than that. I would be screaming. Do you understand what I'm saying? Screaming, jumping for joy to be able to find my loved one, because that's what the
they'd want to
animals
lock
are.
me up. They'd want
Right?
to lock me up if I was finding my animal. They'd think
Yeah.
I'd gone nuts.
May Money, you are
That
emotional.
got me.
It got me too.
As soon as he found the dog, that got me all sorts of crying like a little bitch over here. I mean, wow. It's always like those type of videos that get me, even in movies and stuff. I'm a little sensitive sometimes.
I know, but
That got me.
the guy goes in there and looking for, like, oh my God, thinking his dog is dead.
I know.
There are some miracles that do happen. There are
Hey,
some
Don.
miracles that do happen. Yes, go ahead, Warren.
Don, I just said I did see something about with the Los Angeles area housing issue. Now you have, I don't know how many people that are homeless, and now that presents another issue for the political aspect to come into play. And just, I can't imagine if I was to lose my home right now today, I can't imagine being homeless just out of the clear blue sky. One day I'm at home listening to your show. The next day I don't even have a phone or a television to even watch you. And I can't
Amazing.
imagine how many homeless people are now there, and what's that going to do to the housing supply there in Southern California. That is major. And you have someone in my city, unfortunately, that is coming in. I'm in Washington, D.C., that has a different outlook on the way you treat people. But it's a whole lot of homeless people right now, and I sympathize with them, and I can't even imagine having to go through that.
Let
Well, you
me
know, Piggy.
Sorry,
go
too
ahead.
many of
Go
us at
ahead.
one time. I'm sorry, Terry. No, I was going to say along those lines, and May Money, I see your hand going up too. Um, I think, Warren, we're kind of going right on into that path of talking about the whole housing thing, because I wanted to ask Don about the situation over in and what is it?
Altadena.
Come on, Altadena. You know where I was going with this, because I was
It's an
thinking
historically Black
earlier
neighborhood that is
today.
not getting as much
Yes.
attention as the
And
Pacific Palisades, which is a wealthier,
yes, and
lighter
I was
neighborhood.
thinking about what is going to happen as far as, and you hear already the rhetoric is being spun, which is fine, about how, well, LA has taken hits like this before, we will rebuild. We'll rebuild it. We're going to
Hey,
rebuild it.
Nicole, just
Gotcha.
let me, I just want to, this is up on the screen. I'll let you finish. I think it's important. Allison Kinsey,
Certainly.
thank you for your support. Allison said, very sad. RMU had, remember that you had families from Altadena with before and after pictures. The families have
That.
GoFundMe. I am not a fan of the Red Cross. So let's talk about these families in Altadena, and producers, if you see any Altadena before and after pictures, let's put them up. I did not run across them today. So I appreciate you, Allison Kinsey. This is what I love about this community that we're building, is that we get to do things like this. So please, Nicole, give Altadena their flowers and what they deserve, some attention here. Go ahead.
This is what we're talking about. So I'm hearing the rhetoric that's already coming out about LA rebuilding, and it's going to be bigger and better. They threw out also a couple sound bites regarding the Olympics, because of course that's going to be that's on the back of their minds as well, because that's going to be a huge revenue source, or at least it was supposed to be, coming up, as far as making sure that that stays on track. Got it. I'm tracking all of that, clocking it. Gotcha. But when it comes to communities like Altadena and other related communities that are predominantly Black or historically Black, or other minority communities, what have you, where are they on this priority tier? Where are they as far as being publicized, being highlighted, being placed within? And this is another portion of what I'm talking about media coverage. I see. I think I'm very similar to Warren. Warren says you're the only show he watches. I'm in that boat as well. As my youngest daughter says, Don Lemon is the voice of her childhood. You're the only newscaster. It's true. Don Lemon is the only newscaster she remembers. Like when I finally found his show, she was like, "Is that Don Lemon?" And she actually made her way into my bedroom and fell asleep on the floor listening to his
Oh my
voice.
gosh.
He's the only news anchor she remembers.
Rock star.
Yeah, that level. So, but that being said, where are they within this? And sorry to do this, because I'm honestly not trying to focus on it yet. I'm not even emotionally ready yet. But with the incoming governance, if you want, and I use that word so very loosely, where are they going to fall within the priority schema of the rebuilding of LA? When it comes to this, this is a major problem. When you've got videos that are circulating, disinformation that is circulating of people looting within the homes, which are actually footage of people saving items from their own homes. Not to say there aren't bad actors out there, not to say there aren't people that are taking advantage of the situation. I'm sure there are. But when there are actual videos circulating of people who are actually saving items out of their own homes being propagated as if they are looting their own
Looting.
homes.
We played some of that. Yeah. And they were actually, there were good Samaritans actually helping people in the neighborhood.
Helping people save their own homes.
And it was mostly, I have to be honest, because according to the reporting, it was the MAGA folks online spreading that propaganda, and the far right folks who are talking about, who love to bring up DEI and all of that stuff about people of color.
So we have an issue, a major issue, with what is being propagated with disinformation and misinformation versus what the mainstream media and independent media are choosing to say, okay, this is news. This is what you guys need to know regarding this travesty, this tragedy, and how you, the common citizen, can participate politically and boots on the ground to assist. And these are the communities that need that attention. And that has to be prioritized. It has to be delegated. It has to be organized. It has to be collaborated with. It's so overwhelming, and there's so much to do. Where do we go? Come on, Don Lemon. You the man with the answers. Come on, Don.
Well, where is there to
I
go and what is
chime
there to
in.
do? Look, I think that it's better, like the resources that are there on the ground. What I can do and what we can do is bring light to this story. And what I can do is reach out to my sources who are in California. And I promise you, I will do that to see where these people can do and what they. Oh, by the way, speaking of, I love you. Thank you, Nicole. I have some information that I want to give to folks. Producers, I sent you an email earlier, which was about the Altadena neighborhood. Do you remember that I sent it to you earlier? And we can put that information up, and I will read it if we have it. Stand by 1 second. I'm going to get it up now. Let me find it here. You go ahead and continue to talk because I'll find it, because they are concerned about people taking advantage of the folks there. So I got an email earlier, and I'm just going to read it to you, okay? And I really appreciate that you brought this up. So it says, "Dear Don Lemon, I hope this message finds you well. I am reaching out to you regarding an important matter affecting families in the Altadena and Pasadena communities, particularly Black families who have recently faced devastating challenges following the Eaton fire. Many of these families are navigating the difficult process of recovery and stability, and some are considering selling their homes without understanding the long-term implications. However, I know there are people with ill intent who may try to take advantage of this horrible situation. To support these families, to ensure they have access to sound advice, we are encouraging them to seek legal counsel before making any decisions. On January 18th, there will be a free legal clinic hosted at the First AME Church in Pasadena, 1700 North Raymond Avenue, Pasadena, California, 91103, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. This clinic will provide critical guidance to help families make informed decisions and protect their rights. Please feel free to reach out to the church, the city, or the legal team to confirm this information. Families can RSVP by emailing info@ludd.com. Put this up, please, producers. Ludd.com, or calling this number, which is 626-217-2608. Your help in spreading the word would make a significant difference for these families during such a challenging time. Thank you for your support, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or suggestions, says Alexandra Smith. And again, it is a free pro bono legal clinic, and they're asking people to have their information and to know this is all part of the Better Business Bureau, et cetera. But don't make any decisions. Even if you call this number, if you go to this clinic, don't make any decisions without getting independent verification, without getting independent advice on what is being offered to you and what is being told to you. This is at the First AME Church in Pasadena, California, on January 18th, 2025. Go on. Hopefully that helps some people.
I wanted to jump in real quick, Don, because I have some information out here from Oakland Public Schools. If you
The information, by the way, is scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Okay, go on, please.
Okay, so basically, I work at elementary school in Oakland, and we've been getting a lot of students that have family down in those areas that don't have schools anymore. And so what I do think is happening, just from the superintendent's notice today, is that they're going to be allowing people, if they come out here up to Northern California, to get into schools easier and, to have replacements for, education for children if they're coming out to Northern California, which a lot of people probably will be doing. And I have like day-to-day information on that because I work at a school. So if you would like me to stay in touch with you, if I get any sort of sources or any news about
Absolutely.
like what's going on with schools, I am super down to help out with that.
So they're trying to get people to incorporate them and find a place to live where you are in the Oakland area, correct?
Well, yeah, in the Bay, because it's fine out here. California is a really big state, so it's not like people have to leave the entire state if they need a place to go. And
Yeah.
so a lot of the superintendents all over the state are, trying to find schools for children to get into. And I think they're laxing up like the enrollment process and more willing to like fill up classrooms or whatever if they need to be, just because a lot of students have been displaced. So if you want, I can stay in touch with whatever updates I get on, what people in schools are doing in the state of California specifically.
I would love for you to be able to do that. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to talk about some things that I think.
Actually, Don, can
Yeah,
I jump in
go
there
ahead.
for a
Who's that?
second?
Who's that?
It's Terry.
Hey, Terry.
I just
what's-
want to
what's up?
say, number one, I just want to say, Nicole, thank you. I was not aware that Altadena was a minority community. I didn't know that myself. And in you educating us on that, that helps me because I'm talking to people all the time about what's going on over there. I mean, it's 3,000 miles away, but it's still my country. It's my people. And, I think about when we were talking about the future earlier, I had a family member say, oh, they're rich people, they'll be fine. Well, let's think about this for real. How many minorities now, and let's be real, how many minorities are janitors, are nannies, are, cleaning people's homes, are cooking for these wealthier people? What are they going to do? They're going to have to go find work elsewhere. And then, I was a caregiver for someone with a cruel form of dementia at one point. Do you know one of the hasteners of death with someone with Alzheimer's or dementia when they're that far down the road is moving them? How many of those people have had to move? People with children, if they're going to move to another city and start over, are they going to want to move their children back once their children get settled again? So I think about the future, but also when you brought up Altadena, I think about, who are the people being affected who aren't the rich, who go and work for the rich, and even that is even more heartbreaking,
I want to put up.
Sorry.
Let me put up some of the. This is from. Let's see which one I want to show because this is from Altadena. Producers, which one is a longer piece of video that we can put up for Altadena? Or which one do you think is the best piece to put up right now so that people can look at it and get it?
We have a news clip, and then we also have like an aerial video. The news clip is a little longer and might offer some more context.
Okay, let's listen to the news clip and then we'll weigh in. And I'll play as much as we need to. Okay, so here it is. Thank you, Nikki.
Well, there's levels of trauma to this tragedy. First, you have the devastating loss of life. Then you have the loss of property with homes like this one where only a chimney remains. And then there's the loss of community. Tonight, residents are left wondering what Altadena will look like once it rebuilds. Among the ashes in Altadena includes the community's history of acceptance and diversity.
That was the most important thing my dad shared with me. He says, make sure you buy your house. So when we bought this house in 1993, the whole thing was to buy it and create generational wealth. We were not going to leave.
Kevin Williams' family moved here in 1965 as a kid. While many families were being pushed out of their communities and redlined, Williams' family found refuge in Altadena with a dream of creating generational wealth.
And again, one of the other reasons why we wanted to maintain this residence is for the legacy purposes, for them to be able to inherit this house so that they could stay. It's tough.
Williams lost 2 buildings on his property to the fire, but his home was saved. Tonight, he's concerned for those in the Black community who weren't as lucky. He explains many of their homes were inherited and aren't insured.
So are they going to be able to rebuild? Who's going to come into the neighborhood? What's going to happen to the African-American people who trailblazed?
Michelle Zach's home of 40 years was also lost in the fire. She's a historian and explains at one point Altadena was around 48% African American. She says today that number is closer to 20%.
Pasadena was doing a lot of urban development and urban renewal, and it used to be the urban renewal equals Negro removal is what was actually said. And so a lot of people of color moved up from Pasadena to Altadena.
These are 4 of the 11 victims who lost their lives in the Eden fire. We are still waiting to hear about the other victims. As the community looks to heal, they hope their legacy of diversity will be preserved.
Is a rare, good example for America, I think, for how we've all gotten along and been very diverse.
Thank you. So that's the report, and that's the reporter at the end. But look, I mean, and that is a devastation in a historically Black community. And I'm sure, look, we were saying, what are folks going to do there? Not everyone there is a domestic or whatever. They're professional people, minorities as well in that community. But I want to show the folks here who are watching just the before and after devastation. Let's roll that, because we did it. We showed what happened in. Where would we show the video from the Palisades? Let's show what's happening now in Altadena. Oh my gosh, look at that, guys. Beautiful beachfront homes, and then rubble. Holy smokes. Wow. Oh my gosh. This is Pacific Palisades. That they are showing. So that's before and after of a number of different neighborhoods. Altadena and Pacific Palisades. These are the only ones we have, right? This is the only before and after we have, right, of Altadena. Nikki, by the way, has a cold. Is that it, Nikki? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, that's what we have.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm so glad that you guys brought this to light. And the information we have is scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and we just want people to have the best knowledge and make the right decision, and these folks are trying to help them out. I want to move on now and I want to talk about something, because a lot is happening right now in Washington, D.C., and it's kind of a hard turn to get to. I almost don't want to do it, but I feel it's important that people get the information, because we know in Washington, D.C. right now, the nominees for top posts in the administration are gearing up for their Senate confirmation, happening right now, which kicks off a week of more than a dozen confirmation hearings in the days ahead. Republican senators are working to get the president-elect's team in place as quickly as possible, with Trump inauguration on January 20th and the GOP majorities in the House and the Senate that are eager to get to work on his policy agenda. So Republicans hold 53 seats in the Senate, and nominations require a simple majority, meaning most of Trump's picks should be comfortably confirmed. It should happen really quickly, right, in short order after he takes the office. Okay, so listen, let's not try to pretend that this is normal. When you look at the people who are here, right? Some of the folks who are here, like Pete Hegseth, who was an anchor on Fox News. Not nearly enough experience, according to just about everybody. Kristi Noem, as we knew about what she wrote, a book about her dog and having to, unalive her dog. So we know about that. Pam Bondi is in Florida, has been controversial. Donald Trump has also donated to her campaign. She was investigating him, dropped the investigation. There was a donation, and there are reports on whether this was connected or not. Marco Rubio is perhaps the most traditional of them all so far. That is going to happen next week or this week. And it is going to be a you know what show of this. And then next week, you're going to have an inauguration. I don't know who's ready for this, but I don't think, listen, we have to report it. They're going to be the leaders. They're going to be in charge of this administration, or at least helping the president to run things. So we can't ignore it, but we don't have to treat it as if we don't have to normalize it. These are odd picks. These are a bandit of misfit folks who are being put into positions, many of them, that they are simply not qualified for. And some of them would say, some folks would say, according to the MAGA folks' definition of diversity, equity, and inclusion, this would be a DEI in their estimation. That's not really what DEI is, of presidential picks for people who are not qualified and are only getting the job because of their loyalty or their connection to the president or the president-elect of the United States. That's all I'm going to say about that. If you want to know more about it, keep your eyes and your ears open. Again, these folks will most likely be confirmed and go through, but that doesn't mean that these are normal times and normal qualified experts and professionals who are being placed in these roles. And we just want to make sure that you guys know that, because that's the truth. Now, let me bring back in my lemon heads, because I have my lemon legends, because I got to ask you guys, see how I didn't dwell on that? See how I said, this is the truth. We don't have to go on. We know some people have essay allegations and all of that stuff. We don't need to, we know. You know what's up. You know what's up. Okay, so let's go into this now. Now, a lot of folks felt a certain kind of way because I talked about, and I had an opinion about how the former president, Barack Obama, was, so chummy with Donald Trump at the funeral of Jimmy Carter. And people are like, okay, Don,
are we doing this tonight?
No,
we gonna do this?
No. There is a reason.
Let me know.
We're doing this. There's a reason for the madness. And this is why I'm telling you, this is why I said what I said, because you have to be careful. That doesn't mean that I don't have respect for the former president. It doesn't mean that I don't like him. It doesn't mean I voted for him, okay? Meaning Obama, not Trump. I just want Democrats to know that as far as civility, as it relates, yes, I believe in civility, but as it relates to Donald Trump, that is not a reality. And you have to forecast to people the danger of this. And I'll show you why, because even though this may be tongue in cheek and some people may think it's funny, this is what this man will do with any opportunity. He posted this today on his.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You guys are like, are we doing this, Don? All right. So here's what he posted on his site. You guys ready for it? Roll it. Make sure we get the whole thing in. Here it is.
Well, Mr. President.
For a second time. Barack, very nice to see you.
Congratulations. How you doing?
I'm a lot better, Dad.
Yeah, I bet. Knew you'd win.
Oh, really? Oh, come on. Anyone could beat her. She's just...
I was just as appalled. You know what happened? He just didn't want to leave.
I know.
Is what happened. I did what I could to help her. She was horrendous.
I know. You know what I realized? Hillary still hates me. So much. I know. She'll never forget me. We should meet to discuss
I
this.
think so, too. We can definitely set something up. Let me know whatever works best for you.
I was going to fly back to Florida tomorrow for the golf.
Okay.
That's not real. You know that's not real.
Thank you.
But there are people who think it's going to be real. They're talking shit about Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, and they have Barack Obama. This is fake. Talking shit about both of them, saying, she was, and Joe Biden, he didn't want to leave. Anybody could have beat her. Then Barack Obama agrees. This man is not normal. And that's why you got to be careful with him, and you have to handle him or treat him with a long handle spoon. May money first.
Okay, so Don, first of all, I've seen a lot of these voiceovers, and some of them are for Black people's ears only, I would say, or at least, not for live TV. So I can see how this can go all bad for, you know, people that watch just that one. It's like, oh yeah, haha, I won. But I saw some really funny ones. But also I want to say is like, and Maureen, you might agree with me. Come on. You
Oh, I
know,
will agree with
we don't know
you, I'm sure.
exactly what, like, we don't know what's going through Obama's brain at this point.
That is true. Listen, it's not even about Obama, but this is a thing that is not normal with him. Obama would never post anything like that. George Bush would never post anything like that. Hillary Clinton would never post anything like that. But Donald Trump is juvenile, and he doesn't
I lost
care.
my second point. It'll
Okay,
come back.
go
I
on.
lost
Sorry.
my second point, but it'll come back to me. But I'll hand it off to Maureen, who seemed
You
like
lost. Oh, I'm sorry. I made you lose your train of thought. I'm sorry.
Did I seem like,
You lightweight
I
did.
don't know. I love to listen to what you have to say.
Go ahead, yell at me.
I don't know. I could say
Remember
some
your
really
train
nasty things about Mr. Trump, but he's not going to change. And I am not looking forward to watching the inauguration. I have a niece who's going to the women's march in Washington, D.C. a couple of days before. I hope she's okay. I worry about her too, as to the safety, but I'm so proud of her also. If I could, I would go to that march.
You know what you were saying, May Money, you were saying maybe Maureen will agree with me. Does that help you remember what your train of thought was?
Yeah.
It'll come back to me when everybody starts talking. I'm sure it'll come back. Let's
Go ahead,
just
Nicole.
keep moving forward.
I know, Nicole, I'm sorry. I really apologize. Nicole, what do you want to say? Because I know you're raring to go.
You know, Don, I'm going to forgive you for this, but one day, maybe not today, but one day, I'm going to pass my turn to somebody else who's ready, because I'm still brewing on this, because I got a lot on this. But if anyone else has something, I'm going to give them a shot at it, and I'll come back.
I just want to know your take on it. That's it. You can say whatever you want.
If anybody else has a take they
me.
want to get out, I will let them go ahead, and then you can double back to me, Don. But you make sure you double back, because double boiling trouble, fire burning cauldron bubble. I got something for you.
Go ahead, Terry.
I had this boiling for a minute.
Go ahead, Terry.
I know that was AI. I couldn't believe it at first. I'm just waiting for Cat Williams' interpretation, lip reading.
Oh, that is going to be that's going to be priceless.
I hope Cat is
Cat is my favorite.
And I hope he puts his words in that conversation.
Yeah.
No, Don, I think you need to get D.L. Hughley up here to talk about this.
Oh, yes.
I am going to see him Sunday night. He's here. He's performing here. And you need to get him up in this Legends chat, because between him and Cat Williams, there's not going to be anything better. I'm just saying. But I think it's frightening that he who shall not be named in my house is absolutely unhinged. I mean, it's an alternate reality. And then I just shake my head that people actually bought into this. I don't know that I will ever get my head around the fact that all these millions of people voted for this. It's just unbelievable.
Anybody else have anything to say? Natasha, anyone?
Yeah, I would like to. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go. Please go.
I just wanted to say that I'm appalled that it seems like so many people act like it's okay. They're just going along with it. Even like with the whole Mark Zuckerberg, all this stuff. It just seems like people are just going along with. And I'm just, some days I can't even speak. Like right now, I can't even get it out because I'm just so shocked that so many people are just like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know what, I feel like we have no idea what the next 4 years is going to be like. Because you see all the chaos now. We haven't even gotten to the inauguration. Mm-hmm. So I'm not panicked, but I'm kind of concerned.
Nicole, did you want to jump in?
I have woosah'd and I have stretched out, Don. I'm ready. Okay. So I get it. I really do get it. And you are correct, because you are the master of optics and you know how all this works better than
You know you
everybody
can
else in this
disagree with me,
room.
right? You don't have to agree with me. I'm
Boy,
totally
I'm
cool.
coming for you, Don. I'm just saying,
Good,
because
good,
you know
good.
it's
Go
the
on.
salmon. And you know you got to set the table. I'm coming. Don't. But I got to set the Louisiana boy up first. Okay. So you're right. Optics are a thing. But also, there are no optics that are going to convince people, yeah, or nay. Like, you're not punishing anybody. Okay, so what? They shunned him. This is not a man that can be shunned or shamed. These are shameless people.
Right.
These are shameless people.
Yes, ma'am.
Shame does not work with them. Oh, I'm sure. What did he cry in the limo? Oh, they don't like me. Everybody hates me. I might as well go eat. No, he did not.
He
What,
might
did he
have.
go back to his people and just be like, no, if anything, he went back and 5 more ways I can get under Hillary's skin next week. No, these are not people that can be shamed or shunned. Because they are on a whole other level, and the acolytes that they attract are the same type of people. They live in a psychological bubble. Don Lemon, may I submit to the court? Did you not this morning just give us what was it? The psychological I
Oh,
forget
yeah,
what the
yeah.
term
People who
was.
go along when I said, yes, I did.
Yeah, I went on ahead and wrote it down because I knew you was coming with this. Okay. So you know what you're up against. You are up against people who have psychologically trapped themselves in a box. And other than Jesus and therapy, they're not coming out of that box. And there's no amount of optics or non-optics that's going to bring them out of that. So I do understand you, but at the same time, shaming my president for sitting next to a person, and may I say this, I have been in situations in which I have gotten the short end of the stick and had to sit next to somebody who I cannot stand on general principle. I love everybody in the name of the Lord, but on general principle, this person represents some morals that I don't necessarily agree with, and they won't shut up because it's always the person that they know that they are completely counter to who you are, but they sit next to you like they're the buddies, and
Right.
they try to control the narrative, and they won't shut up. And if you go back and watch the tape again, Don, please roll it back. He started the Orange Menace, started the
Yeah,
conversation.
he started the conversation. I saw that.
And if you watch the body language on my president, he was actually leaning the other way. He answered once. The Orange Menace continued. He answered twice with a little bit of gesturing. By the third time, my president realized, okay, this dude is not going to shut up. And you know what he did? He took control of the conversation. That's what he did. Because you're not going to shut up. You're not going to shut up. So rather than listening to you talk all night, I'm going to talk. And I'm going to engage this conversation. Because if I just let you talk, you're just going to run on nonsense after nonsense. And I don't want to hear it until this service starts. So let me go ahead and I have done it 1,000 times, Don.
Okay, all right.
Listen,
100%.
I got you.
I work for the church.
Let me just
Well,
say
you're
this,
tryna-
Nicole.
You're trying to have
That's
Obama
your
go straight up
opinion. That's your
kill
opinion.
somebody at the
It is
funeral?
just an opinion.
Hang on one second. Hang on
But
one second,
all
everybody.
I am saying is I'm not going to crucify him
No,
for
no,
that
no.
situation.
Let me say this. I'm not crucifying him. I'm not shaming him. I'm just pointing out how the frustration that people feel about Democrats, that they're not strong enough in their opposition. Now, let me say this. That's your opinion, and it's very valid. I understand it, and I accept it. And I think that you're right in your own right. And you have the right to feel the way that you feel. I have the right to feel the way that I feel. I just didn't like to see it, considering especially how much I love Michelle Obama and the things that he has said and they have said about her. It just made me feel a certain kind of way, like don't. And I thought about my women family members, and I'm like, if you're going to say something like that about my family members, especially the women in my family, then I don't really have time for you. But listen, I got to run, guys.
But Don,
Go ahead. I'll
Don,
give
you
you.
know,
Go ahead.
if Michelle was
She wouldn't
there,
put up with
it
that.
wouldn't
I was
have been
about
no
to
talking
say,
up in there at all.
right?
No.
Ain't nobody would have been talking at
Nope.
all. So you
I
already know that.
wonder if Michelle, when he got on, Michelle said, "Did you have to be smiling that much? Did you have to be laughing with him that much?" I
She
don't know.
probably did. She
I'm
probably
saying
did because she has
those
checked
eyes of
Barry
hers would have
before.
been said it all. Those eyes of hers would have said all of it.
But I
All
think
of
that's
it.
the point.
Go ahead,
That's the
Kim. Kim
point.
wants to get in. Go ahead, Kim.
Well, that's the point. He could have been cordial. He could have been all those things, which he is because he's a classy guy, right? We love him. He could have done all those things. It was the yucking it up that kind of took it over the top.
That's for me
right?
the same thing. I think that you should sit next to someone. You should be civil. You should be cordial. But then I
Absolutely.
understand. Well, and I get it. Look, there's a method to his madness. He's a very smart man. He's a president of the United States. Who am I to question him? But as an American, I do have my opinion, and so that's it. I wasn't trying to shame anyone or anything like that.
How do
But
we
keep your enemies
how do we
close,
know,
right?
How do
That
we know
part,
that
Kim.
wasn't a what the fuck laugh? I'm just curious. How do we know that wasn't a what the fuck laugh? None of us
Might
were
be.
there.
It probably
You know,
was.
it
probably
could have
was.
been. It could have been.
He
I
just needed to
mean,
add a little bit more shade to the whole thing. So if you want to talk
yeah,
somebody up, just
like the
oh my
hand or
God,
something.
Thank
this
you, Warren.
peasant.
Guys, I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I appreciate your opinion. Look, everyone is welcome here with their opinion, and you can feel the way you feel. I'm not going to castigate you or whatever. If the former president called me, I tell him how I feel, but tell him that I respect and love him, and I'm not shaming him or whatever. I'm sure they probably read, and he's like, Don Lemon, who the hell? Whatever.
Hey, Don, real quick, is this just this is a first for me coming on your show like this? Is this going to happen often, or has it been happening often?
It's where you been. Can Maureen and Beth, can you tell him where you been, Warren?
Usually
And-
Monday.
and
Usually
Kim.
Monday, sometime later in the week. But yes,
This is-
Warren, thank you. Go
Yeah.
Bills. That's right.
But thank you.
I
Yes,
just
it
want to
will.
say to you, I just want to say, Don, I think because Melania won't talk to Trump, he would talk to anybody that was nearby.
Let me say
He
this.
would not talk to him.
I want you guys to know, because of the tier of membership that you're in, you're going to get this special treatment, and you're also going to get private stuff that we just do. Like last night I kind of showed people what we do on the private stream, because I did a little bit of karaoke with my new karaoke machine. But because you guys are so generous and you support independent media, and I'm trying to build a family and a community here, I want you guys to have this special privilege of actually being on the show, because I appreciate and I love you. And I want you guys to feel welcome to your opinion and to disagree with me all day and all night long. That's what the world is about. I disagree with my mama sometimes, and I love her, and I know she ain't going nowhere, and I'm not either. So that's just how so don't feel that you have to agree with me. But anyways, thank you guys, Lemon Legends. Okay. And thank you to the Lemon Heads who are also in the chats. I'm sorry I did not get to highlight your conversations tonight. So I appreciate it. You guys feel the way you feel. I love it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe, because that helps us. It affects the algorithm, and you keep us streaming as independent media and in business. Okay. I love you guys. Bye, Lemon Nation. Have a fantastic evening, okay? I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for our Hot Topics program. And I got to go because I have to go to an appointment, okay? Thanks, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.